Hi, I'm Andrew Thatcher. I'm a professor of industrial and organizational psychology here at Wits University in Johannesburg. My area of specialization is looking at something which is called ergonomics or human factors, which is otherwise known as human system interaction. So human system interaction might be things like humans working with a computer. How would we get that system design so that it is making sure that people can use it in an optimal way? Or alternatively, human physical systems, so a human being sitting at a desk with a chair, and how we might make sure that we optimize that relationship. In other words, making sure that the desk is at the right height, the chair is at the right height, and given that there may be different people sitting at that desk, maybe the chair is adjustable for different types of height and also for different types of work that the person might be doing. To call yourself an ergonomist, you need to really be an expert in all three, because we look at systemically how they link with one another. Those three are cognitive ergonomics, in other words, what goes on between our ears. They are physical ergonomics, in other words, how our body interacts, and organizational ergonomics, which is how we then put it together within a company or within an organizational system. True ergonomics, you really need to do all three things because they link to one another. So, for example, when I sit on a chair, even though I'm sitting on a chair and I might have physical discomfort from the chair, in other words, physical ergonomics, that's going to affect how I think, in other words, cognitive ergonomics. And it's also going to happen within a psychosocial environment, in other words, organizational ergonomics. My area of ergonomics is very much in sustainability, and sustainability is about working in transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary teams. There's no way I can know everything about what's going on in the workplace. So the type of work which I might do in a community might, for example, be to insert a bit of technology. Now, I'm not an engineer. I'm a psychologist by training, so I don't know the engineering of how this might work. And so I need to work with engineers. I need to work with biologists in the case of one of the projects which we're looking at. I need to work with physical geographers because we need to understand something about weather and weather patterns and how that might fit in. And I'm really adding the human side to that. How do these systems link with the humans which are going to be interacting with them? So I bring something that the others don't bring. The engineers get quite scared when we talk about human beings. They get quite frightened when they think that their human being might actually have to tamper with the machine that they're developing, and would rather that the human being didn't touch it at all. Whereas in the end, we're designing things for people to help people do their work. And so people are going to come into that. And that's where my role fits in. If I think about my own career and what I've tried to get involved in, it's very much been about trying to solve societal problems which I come across. So if you're growing up in a township or a settlement that lives near a mine, for example, you're going to find that your water's contaminated all the time. It tastes funny, it looks funny. And so you might find yourself ending up in a career where you want to be involved with how do we get about cleaning this water, or for that matter, stopping the water from becoming contaminated in the first place. And so you might find yourself in looking at something along the lines of biology or engineering or mining. Yeah, so I was born in the UK, a spa town, and I left there when I was 6 months old and travelled and stayed both in Zambia and Mozambique before eventually settling in Johannesburg when I was 2 years old. I think the upbringing brought me to a sort of a sense of realising that there were people outside of my own sphere, outside of people that I knew, that I wanted to get to know. And that included people coming from diverse racial backgrounds, people coming from diverse financial backgrounds, and people coming from diverse bits of personality which they might bring into that situation. It's always been something that's interested me, and that's why I found myself studying psychology, really interested in understanding people and why we do the really odd things that we do. If I was going back, and I do speak to quite a lot of school kids who come to the university about what are you going to do? Think about something that you're passionate about doing. Choose those types of subjects that you really are passionate about at school, that make you think, I want to know more about this. Because two things, you're going to do better in a subject that you like doing. And second of all, you're going to try to find a career that might not even exist now, that you'll be able to drive going with your passion. Whether your passion is art, whether your passion is science, whether your passion is maths. Go with your passion.